Karis dan Selum. Ya, malam ini kita santai-santai aja ya. Duduk bersama-sama untuk menikmati Pantai Liman, Pulau Semau. Now we are sitting in close to Liman Beach at Semau Island. Ya, David. Here is David and Derek, Alec, and Jonson Dethan. We are enjoying our relaxed time. So we like to just talk about how can we become successful by the grace and the blessing of the Lord. So now I like to ask question. Let's start with Mr. Alec, far away from Linden, USA. Alec, what do you think? Can you share to the people about how can we achieve success in the Lord?
Yeah, I find there's a bunch of ways to find success. One way that I would start with your spiritual successfulness, which would probably be the most important one, is to find the right church community and stick to that community, because the people around you are going to be the greatest influence in what your behavior turns out to be. So for me, I go to the Linden American Reformed Church, and there's a lot of people my age and a lot of people older than me that all take care of me in a way, check in on me.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a good atmosphere to be a part of, and like everyone should want to have something like that.
So you feel growing spiritually.
Yes.
In the middle of spiritual community.
Correct.
Wonderful. Ya, ini seorang keponakan ya, kita panggil keponakan dari Linden Amerika. Dia berkata bahwa salah satu kunci kesuksesan yaitu sukses secara rohani, sangat penting. Dan dia katakan kalau mau sukses harus ada dalam komunitas rohani, di mana ada orang-orang rohani yang lebih tua, ada anak-anak umur seperti dia, kemudian bisa belajar untuk bertumbuh secara luar biasa secara rohani. Ya, saya baru sharing-sharing dengan mereka tentang 7 kunci sukses. Ya, David pasti ingat ya, ada sukses secara rohani, spiritual success. Ada sukses secara psikologi yang berhubungan dengan mental, emosional, kemudian sukses secara fisikal. Yang keempat itu ada sukses secara sosial, sociological success. Yang kelima ada kunci sukses secara ekonomi atau economical success. Kemudian yang keenam ada kunci sukses, bagaimana bisa sukses secara pendidikan, educational success. Dan yang terakhir, bagaimana bisa sukses secara keluarga, family success. Ya, David? What do you think? You want to share something to the people about all this success? Alex just talking about spiritual success, which is very, very important. Do you want to share with people about any of those success thing? Go ahead, silakan David, bagi-bagi dulu lah, biar kita bisa nikmati tentang hidup sukses. Go ahead, silakan.
Yeah, for me, I've been with Berto in Canada for almost 2 years, and I think the biggest impact for us was, we start from bottom up. You don't focus on physical or psychological without God in it. If you do it yourself, like it doesn't work as effective. There's no foundation.
Correct.
There's no depth to it.
Right.
And we could give some specific examples of how things has worked in Canada. When we first came to Canada, we didn't know where to stay, transportation, where to work, or a good church community. We didn't know any of that. But his mom was pretty intentional about that. We visited a bunch of different churches, and one Sunday we sat next to a couple, And right after that, they invited us for lunch, and then after that, they saw our maybe how close we are as a family, and they enjoyed it.
Ya, sweet. Jadi David baru sharing tentang hal yang berhubungan dengan sukses itu. Dia bilang mau sukses secara ekonomi atau sukses secara fisik, semua sukses-sukses yang disebut tadi itu tidak bisa dibuat tanpa sukses secara spiritual, yaitu harus ada relasi dengan Tuhan. You need to have connect with the Lord as the good foundation. Itu juga Derek sampaikan tadi. Jadi dia katakan bagaimana mereka ke Kanada, kemudian mereka mulai pelan-pelan membangun relasi di tempat yang jauh dari keluarga, tapi ada di dekat gereja. Di dalam gereja itu mereka mulai membangun relasi-relasi itu dan kemudian bisa bertumbuh. Ya, David, lanjut.
Yeah. So we sat next to that couple. They invited us for lunch, and then somehow, by the grace of God, literally they gave us a place to stay for really cheap, transportation to go to their place, and a job, all in one place. Plus, that church has a bunch of different missionary kids, so it was like they're very inviting, very warm. So it's all like all in one package. So there is no way it was just like a coincidence, because it's just it was amazing. And after that, a bunch of other amazing things happened through all the relationships with you guys. So.
David sampaikan bahwa dia bersama dengan Berto ada di tempat yang sangat tidak terlalu mereka kenal, tetapi karena mereka didorong untuk ke sana dan secara bukan kebetulan ya, Tuhan begitu atur dan mereka langsung berkenalan dengan orang-orang gereja. Kemudian dari kenal dengan orang-orang gereja itu datanglah berbagai macam bantuan, berbagai macam gerakan sehingga mereka mulai dapat pekerjaan. Kemudian dari pekerjaan itu mereka mulai dapat ya membangun bisnis di sana ya. Dan akibatnya mereka melihat bahwa memang sukses itu tidak bisa dicapai tanpa Tuhan. You cannot achieve that success without the Lord. Derek, you have something to share. Ini seorang teman keluarga juga dari Amerika, Linden, yang juga sudah sukses. Go ahead, Derek. You want to share with people about how you reach your successful life? Anything you want to share? Go ahead.
I would say that you define your own success too, because depending on what you succeed in, you're gonna make sacrifices, right? If you succeed in economically, you might sacrifice family time, right? Because you're always at work. So I think you define what's your success, what you want it to be, right? I would say that would be like the number one thing aside from laying the foundation.
Yes.
With the Lord.
Yes.
I would say.
Ya, jadi bilang selain kita mau capai sukses berdasarkan relasi kita dengan Tuhan, tetapi juga penting juga bahwa untuk menjadi sukses itu kita harus siap untuk berkorban. Berkorban dalam arti kita harus tinggalkan keluarga, jauh dari keluarga. Itu sacrifice yang cukup berat. Tapi itulah sukses. Orang tidak bisa sukses tanpa siap untuk sacrifice waktu, diri, perasaan. Itu menurut Derek punya pengalaman. Thank you, Derek, for that sharing. Beto, you have something to share? Go ahead.
I think the most important is success in the Lord, but also important is to have balance. All the success has to be balanced. So you can't just don't sacrifice all family time just for economical success. But you can't only spend time with your family as well.
Right.
So balance is also very good.
Excellent, that's good point. Ini poin yang penting juga dari Berto. Successful apa? Kita mau mencapai sukses, apakah secara ekonomi ataupun sukses-sukses yang lain, tidak bisa dicapai tanpa berpikir tentang ada keseimbangan waktu. Jadi kita perlu juga ambil waktu dengan keluarga. Tapi Berto sampaikan jangan hanya buang waktu dengan keluarga saja tanpa harus mengambil waktu dengan Tuhan, mengambil waktu dengan membangun ekonomi untuk bekerja. Jadi perlu balance, perlu keseimbangan, dan ini penting. Kadang-kadang kita di Indonesia ini buang waktu banyak bersosial, bicara pesta ya. Om Beni ya, kita Jawa omong-omong rame, tak taunya tidak ada waktu untuk cari uang. Nah, ini namanya balance menurut Berto. Bukan saja itu, dia kasih contoh kita di sini selain pesta kadang-kadang kita terlalu banyak dengan dunia sosial, akibatnya kita juga kadang-kadang lupa Tuhan. Contohnya pesta tahu-taunya hari Minggu mau ke pesta, mau acara orang nikah, tidak ke gereja. Itu namanya harus ada keseimbangan. Ini contoh-contoh yang kita bisa pikirkan bagaimana kita bisa bersama-sama untuk Tuhan, untuk sesama, untuk keluarga, untuk ekonomi. You have to have the balance. That's a good point. Alex, you have anything to share about your challenge of reaching out success? Do you have any challenge that maybe you would like to share?
It's funny you say challenge because I was just thinking, with success, there comes an attitude that you need to have along with it. And I've only had economically, I would say, minor successfulness, but when it comes to that, you have to remember to continue to give from the wealth that you gain, because none of it's from your hard work per se, but given through the Lord's grace. So even when you don't have so much wealth, and you give to the church or you give to others around you, I think it's very important to bring that mentality with you once you've gotten comfortable, per se.
Yeah, when you're all the stewards of
Of the gift of God, of the blessing. Right.
So that's always a challenge because money is the source of, or the root of all evil, and it's hard to make that disconnect of, okay, continue to give as much as you can, right? And so there's always something to work on.
Thank you, Alex. Jadi Alex pada sampai ini anak-anak muda ya, David. Tadi umur berapa David? 20, ya 21. Are you about 20?
little over 20.
Ya, di atas 20, 24, and Berto sekitar 17 ya, mau 17 tahun. Mereka masih muda-muda, tapi mereka masih pikiran-pikiran. Tadi saya tanya tentang tantangannya bagaimana untuk hidup bisa sukses. Nah, kalau sudah sukses pun bagaimana tantangannya, dan dia bilang ada satu tantangan yang perlu kita pikirkan, yaitu tatkala kita mengikuti Tuhan bisa saja punya uang banyak, itu bisa jadi temptation, bisa jadi cobaan kalau uang terlalu banyak. Tapi dia juga bilang kalaupun uang tidak banyak pun bisa juga cobaan, bisa juga sulit, karena kita tuh tidak mau kasih orang, kita tidak mau bantu orang yang sulit, orang yang mungkin miskin. Nah ini dia bilang bagaimana kita menjadi, tadi Derek bilang menjadi the treasure, menjadi bendahara dari berkat yang Tuhan kasih ini untuk kita bisa bantu orang lain. That's good point, Derek. Excellent. David, do you have anything challenge that you can maybe solve or you face, and how can you share, bisa bagi kepada para pemirsa di sana?
Yeah, I probably could add on to what Alec was saying. He was saying that you should give when you have more, but even though you don't have more, you should always give.
Yep.
But also in terms when you have reached a certain stage of success in one of those 7 areas, I would say always watch the way your mindset is toward others. Because sometimes when you go higher a bit in one area, you tend to look down on others, even though you realize that most of the times it's the way you're born, the environment you're in that made you that way. Or most of it's from God, it's all given to you. So don't just think that I've gotten this, I did this, even though, because it's opened my mind when I read about all the successes of Solomon, David, and all those rich people in the Bible. It's none of them is because of them. David, he wasn't, when the prophet went to his father, he was the least, he was the last option. But he got it.
Samuel.
Yeah.
He was just shepherd.
Exactly.
Very poor.
And I would say, even for myself, most of the stuff that I've gotten, it's from the environment I've been, from my parents. It's all just a blessing. So
You have nothing.
always
You have nothing before.
turn your success back to God,
Correct.
Totally.
and yeah,
That helps with the mindset.
Yes. Yes.
because
Yeah.
Keep it centered where it should be.
yeah,
Ya, jadi ini ada beberapa yang saya mau ringkaskan, poin penting. Tadi Alex bicara tentang hal attitude. Tantangan itu attitude, sikap kita terhadap berkat yang Tuhan kasih. Daud bicara tentang mindset. Bagaimana mindset itu dipakai dengan baik sehingga berkat yang datang itu jangan sampai menjadi selfish. Nah, akibatnya kita seperti me, saya. Tetapi dia bilang sumber berkat itu dari Tuhan. Ya, bicara tentang Alkitab. Bagaimana orang-orang kaya seperti Daud, Salomo, mereka itu juga sebenarnya startnya nol, sangat-sangat miskin saja. Tapi Tuhan bisa rubah mereka menjadi luar biasa. Dan berbahaya kalau mereka sudah jadi kaya dan mereka lupa Tuhan. Nah, ini bahaya. Jadi dia bilang harus selalu ingat Tuhan. Remember God in all your life situation. Ya, Derek? Anything you want to share as well? Kita dengar nih, seorang anak muda dari Amerika.
I would say, and like, you know, maybe say humanly speaking, but it's also what you'd say in the Bible biblically is use the means, right? So like you want to be successful in all these things, like socially is gonna help you with all of your other successes, right? Because if you like have other people to help you succeed in a way, right? You have connections, and it makes your other successes easy, right? It's like, okay, how are you supposed to make a family without a wife, right? There's no succeeding in that,
Yep.
right? But it's also, yeah, it's humanly speaking, you need other people, but God's giving the means.
Right. Jadi dia mau katakan bagaimanapun tetap Tuhan itu yang atur. Kita punya sukses-sukses itu. Tidak bisa kita jalan tanpa Tuhan. Dia kasih contoh tentang bagaimana dia harus bangun relasi dengan orang lain. Dia kasih contoh, tidak mungkin ada suami itu bisa jadi rumah tangga tanpa istri. Jadi ini satu pikiran yang baik, bagaimana kita bisa belajar berelasi. Ada hubungannya dengan bersosial. Berto, ada yang mau tambahkan? Berto masih mau melihat dan kita ditukar pikiran tentang tantangan-tantangan. Saya kira ada tantangan yang lain yang kita tadi dibicarakan oleh saudara DARI. Tantangan yang lain itu tantangan berrelasi, ya. The challenge of making connection. You can grow when you have good connection, but when you have good connection can be a challenge as well.
Right.
Or if you don't have any connection, then also another problem, right? So if any of you want to say about that challenge, like challenge of making connection and challenge of don't have connection. Do you have any experience on that? About connection, relationship, or that's we were talking about mindset. We're talking about attitude. Now I like to hear about the gift of building relationship, even though you don't have that social skill, but you can still be able to make connections. That's a challenge, right?
Yeah.
So do you have anything to share?
Totally. So you said focus more on how to make connections, and it's all going to start with your mindset, right? If you walk into a group of people and you start worrying about how you look to them or how you feel in that group, you're never going to get anywhere with that, with your connection building. But if you walk into a group of people and think, how can I make these people feel comfortable around me? That's going to be your first step to being able to make good connections. It all starts with that hello, warm smile, and trying to get on their pace, what they're thinking about, and tie it into, it's difficult for sure, but it starts with your mindset of how can you make them feel comfortable, not yourself.
And 99% of the time, like, people are very inviting, and like you just have to make the first, you have to show initiative of making a connection. If you keep your head down, well, they're going to do the same thing. But if you open up, they're most likely
open up and accept and start building the connection.
Most of the time, everybody's okay with that. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
I want to add one thing.
Go ahead.
Coming from United States to Indonesia has been one of the best, eye openers to me. Yeah, exactly. It's been amazing. I've been here for 2 days.
Just 2 days.
And I've been invited into what was previously strangers' homes and welcomed like guests or like family.
And you feel home.
I feel at home. Yeah. So I just wanted to add that point. It's been amazing for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Ini kita lagi bicara tentang tantangan berrelasi, bersosial. Ini tidak semua orang bisa bersosial. Karena ada yang khawatir, ada yang berpikir negatif. Tadi dia bicara tentang kita tidak boleh berpikir negatif. Bahkan dia bilang kalau ketemu orang dia bilang hai, selamat siang, hello. Nah itu bicara dari Alex. Kemudian tadi Derek juga tambah tentang poin-poin bagaimana tantangan-tantangan untuk bangun relasi. Dan Alex bilang datang di Indonesia ini baru 2 hari tapi saya rasa seperti di rumah sendiri ya Pak Ferry. Ini luar biasa, di sini juga rasa kayak rumah sendiri. That is the point, and that's the beauty of when you have connected the Lord, you can shine to other people. You shine as the children of God, and people just accept you amazingly. And if you want to say something before, go ahead.
So I have had several experiences, especially moving from hometown to completely new home, new school, new everything in Malang. I think the biggest thing after all my experiences is just don't focus on yourself. Don't focus on being interesting. Focus on being interested in other people. Because in the end, people want to talk about themselves. They're not going to be like, oh yes, like all these minor details that you look at yourself, it doesn't matter. It's how you make them feel when you talk to them. You praise them, they feel good. If you listen intently, they feel good. That's how people connect and bond. So I would say just take a leap of faith and say hi, how are you? You're a new face. Like it's not that hard, and then just see how that leads on. You focus to put too much pressure on yourself. It's just you just feel like you're needy or all that kind of. So I would just say, just do it.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Be interested in other people.
Jadi Dawi tambah tadi poin bagaimana berrelasi itu jangan sampai kita tuh fokus di diri dan akibatnya kita berpikir negatif tentang diri, akibatnya tidak bisa bereaksi apa-apa atau berinteraksi. Tapi kalau kita interest kepada orang lain, kita lihat untuk kepentingan orang lain, maka kita akan menjadi relax, bisa sharing, bisa diskusi karena kita lihat orang lain punya kepentingan gitu. Melihat orang lain bisa bertumbuh ya. Itu hal yang sangat baik dan that's also difficult because when you do that, God says you have to consider about others' interest. So other people interest, not your own interest. Otherwise you become selfish instead of selfless. Right? That is
I'm lost on that. But,
But I just adding to him like if you follow God's way, you must be able to serve. When you willing to serve, right, then people feel to accept you, and you feel being accepted because you want to serve. But when you focus on yourself, it calls selfish instead of selfish.
serve. Gotcha.
Isn't it it's interesting, Jadi jangan sampai kita tuh hanya melayani diri tapi tidak melayani orang lain. Selfish, selfish. It's different but very biblical. So saya pikir ini penting untuk kita pertimbangkan baik-baik dalam kehidupan bagaimana kita fokus anak-anak Tuhan itu siap untuk melayani daripada dilayani. That's what Jesus said. You remember in the Bible, Jesus said, I come to serve, not to be served. That means I'm not selfish, but I want to serve. I want to serve, not to be selfish.
It feels better to serve as well.
Yeah. Right. What?
It feels way better.
Exactly. Then you got the happiness. Ada sukacita, kebahagiaan di balik itu. Then, the Bible also talking from 1 Peter 5, verse 7, about 6, 7. It says there, be humble. humble yourself before the Lord. There's a song, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He shall lift you up higher and higher, and He shall lift you up. Nah, ini lagu yang kalau kita rendah diri, service, God will bring you up. Don't serve yourself, but humble, and He will bring you up. Amazing, isn't it?
Great.
When you serve, God bring you out. That's biblical. But people have to be served. And that's not biblical.
Right.
Right? And when you serve, people will remember you. People will remember you, and people will love you because you show the love. And you do that because you got the love first of God. Yeah? That is very biblical.
Yeah.
Jadi kita melihat karena Tuhan sudah mencintai kita, maka kita harus mengasihi orang lain. Itu sangat biblical, and that's connect. You see the connection between spiritual success of spiritual growth with sociological growth and success. And then from there you can see the connection to the economical success. After that, you can deal business easily.
Yep.
Because people say, hey, this is a good guy, I want to do business with him. What do you think? Right?
I would say, I just lost my thought. Yeah,
Sorry.
I was going to say something and I forgot.
You just told me we were talking about how can you show the love of God that in you, God love you?
Oh,
You saw how that's coming out.
It's
Go
coming
ahead.
back.
Yeah.
In church, my minister always says that if you live like a good life, an upright life, in the Bible he talks about that. He says the Lord will always bless that, right? And I always kind of like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
kind of follow that, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can, yeah. The Lord sees the way you live, right? It's like if you're living an upright life, you always have a blessing on that.
Right. Jadi ini kita lagi bicara, dia bilang kalau kita hidup ikut caranya Tuhan, itu Tuhan akan memberkati kita karena kita tunduk, kita adalah anak-anak Tuhan. Dan itu tadi saya baru sharing bagaimana koneksi kita dengan Tuhan yang bagus dan kita refleksikan kasih Tuhan kepada orang, itu pengaruhnya kepada hubungan sosial kita dengan orang lain. Itu ada hubungannya juga dengan bisnis kita nanti. It's connected amazingly. When you have good connection with God, and when you show the love of God to others, your social connection will grow amazingly, and it also connect with your economical success easily. So it's not hard.